G'day, punters. Welcome to a huge edition of All In, where we are focusing on the Everest, the big card at Randwick. And got two guys with me today, Dean Watling from the Barrier Attendant and Lewis Willoughby from the Grange in South Australia. How are you, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Full of wine on my resumption to the show. Become a bit of a wine connoisseur. We spent a week down there just drinking vino, which was very nice, and sitting by the beach and eating good food. So it was a lovely week off. I needed it. But it's good to be back. And what better time to return than for an Everest and Caulfield Cup Saturday? So a huge edition. We're going to touch on the Everest. It's an interesting one, short favourite and some longer price runners who, with respect, maybe can't get there. So it's an interesting betting race at least, and we'll touch on that. And Caulfield Cup, always a cracker. Really keen to get stuck into that and hear your guys' thoughts as well. But yeah, good to be back.
And Dino, you're low flying, mate, here in every radio station, every bookmaker and every .com in the industry. Good to see you up and about. How you been?
I don't know how to go off the back of that. You throw me on the bus there, Gannon. No, going good. Outstanding week. The best thing about the weekend, I guess, is that we get a jam-packed week this week. Melbourne racing was outstanding on the weekend. I think it's a great sort of, I don't know how to say it, sort of put in the media that race. The Might and Power Stakes was outstanding. Animo, those horses going at it, are great for racing. So keen to rip in this week. Everest, huge. Caulfield Cup, huge. Keen as.
Going to be enormous, boys. And before we move on, we'll go straight into Everest very quickly. But I just wanted to touch on one thing, the absolute uppercut of the century, the decision not to move those races forward on Saturday. There's no point avoiding it. It's the elephant in the room. We may as well touch on it. There is absolutely no reason why that meeting couldn't have kicked off at 10:30 or 11 o'clock with 30-minute gaps. Turnover was clearly the priority. But you know what? You got through four races, and I don't reckon anyone really cared about having a bet in the fifth. So you've done yourself anyway. Crazy, just craziness. There's punters, there's done their all-in tickets. They're now got to load in there 7 days and they're copying a drier track. There's trainers, there's connections that have lobbed at the track wanting to see the horses races who've been sent home. An absolute disaster. As an industry, whether you're from Victoria, New South Wales or Queensland, we have to do better for the participants. That's not good enough. Righto, boys, that's enough from me. We're going to go straight to the Everest, Louis.
Yeah, no, and just quickly, I agree. That was a crazy old Saturday there, and so easily avoidable. But anyway, right, let's touch on the Everest. It is, of course, the sixth running of the great race, worth $1 billion. And we're going to have a look at all the runners here. We're all touching on a few of them each. And there's no surprise I'll just quickly run through the market, but we'll touch on the market as we go anyway. $1.90 in Nature Strip with Tab, Lost and Running at $7, Jacquino 11, 13 for Eduardo, Masked Crusader and Marzu, and a few more down the board, $15, $26, etc. So as we mentioned off the top, very short favourite and probably deservedly so. And then if you're looking to back against it, you've got to find something in there that first you think can win it, and then you've got to say, well, is that the price I'd want to be taking on the GOAT? So it's a really interesting one. I kind of haven't made up my mind yet, but maybe I will by the end of this. All right, as we mentioned, we're going to go through every single runner, and we've all had a few to focus on, and we're going to start with Nature Strip at $1.90. And Gano, this is your time to shine. You've been spruiking this since Jesus was playing fullback for Nazareth, so I'll give you the chance to give us a rundown as why the $1.90 is overs, and we should be loading up.
Well, Dino, you like a trumpet. Here's a trumpet. $4 was overs. You've all wanted to spray me. We're $1.90 now. I can't possibly take $1.90 now. I think we'll get $2.20 Saturday. It's his race to lose. He's the best horse in the country. He's the best horse, best sprinter in the world. If he turns up and he's on top, like at his top, he'll be winning. They won't catch him. And I tell you what, before we get too deep in this race, we've just given some people in charge a spray about making a mistake. But I tell you what, this race has quickly become one of the most iconic races in this country. So if you're going to hand out a bit of a spray, you also got to hand out a pat in the back. It is a super race, creating a ton of talk, and I'm pumped. Back to Nature Strip. The way the track's going to play, as long as he doesn't draw one or two, he'll be winning.
Okay, interesting. What do we got? Soft 7, 8 at best. rail
Yes,
through.
I'm saying 7 or 8. There is 3 to 8 meals coming on Friday, which makes me a bit nervous, but I think we'll get to a 7 or an 8, mate.
Dino, thoughts, Nature Strip?
Yeah, I can't dive into the price now. Well done if you're on it. The 4s, Ganno. You've done outstandingly well there. I thought that would be genuine unders, but look at us now. I think the biggest thing is he's a pattern horse. So there's no pattern to this preparation. Chris Waller's a pattern trainer. I think if it was a genuine prep, he didn't go overseas and all that sort of stuff, and this was him 3rd or 4th up, yeah, you could probably take $2. But the way he can sort of mix his form, his second up form's horrible. He's gone overseas. There's a lot to dissect here. And I hope we get to a drying track. I think the drier it gets, the more he drifts. I think the wetter it gets, the more he firms. I think Lost and Running, a couple of others, they don't come into it. But Nature Strip deserves to be favourite. He's best horse in the world. Good luck to you if you're on the 4s, Louis.
Can I just throw something in there, Louis? Sorry to interrupt, mate. Really quickly, we hear this pattern stuff a lot, and we were worried about Animo last week with coming off the 3 or 5 lane. Horse proved us wrong. I think sometimes we've just got to trust the best trainers in the world. Sorry, Dino, to carve you up there, but that's probably one thing I learned from Animo last week. Sometimes we just got to trust these guys, Louis.
Yeah, it's fair enough. I can't add much more with Nature Strip. Yeah, look, without pricing it up, maybe too short, but Dino, as you said, it's Morgan, I can't remember. It's his race to lose, and that's very true. Sorry, I wasn't listening. Lost and Running, $7, second favourite. Dino, this is your time to shine with the second fave. Running really well, and I know you've mentioned a few times over the months of the show that probably is definitely the main danger to the fave. So how have you found Lost and Running?
Yeah, I really hope we get back to a soft 7, soft 6, and I genuinely believe this horse can win and beat Nature Strip. Nature Strip's on his best day, best rating, whatever, he probably wins. But if he's a length or 2 off that, I genuinely think Lost and Running can win. 3rd up, he recorded a peak rating 2nd up, so that's the first time he's done that in his preparation. All of his other preparations, he's then again proved 3rd up with his figures. So that tells me the horse is back better than ever. Wet, dry, no issue. Heavy, that takes away from his turn of foot. He's adaptable. We don't want him to draw too close in. I think Barrier's 3+. He can sit off a speed. He can sit on a speed. He's got a turn of foot. He's a big, gross horse. And I saw a video of him through the week. I'm no yard expert, but he looks $1 million. So I generally think he can win. I think the track, way it plays, etc., is massive to his chances, though, boys.
Gannon?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I couldn't disagree with you there. And speaking of yard experts, Dino and I will be out there at Randwick on Saturday. Punters doing some live stuff on the Great Tip-Off Twitter. So make sure you're subscribing, get involved there. We might even call in Louis, might give you a bit of a live stream with you as well, mate. Get your opinion on Jack and know how it's going to go. But I'll tell you what, with Lost and Running, I think the clear danger. And if you're going to be having a bet now, $1.90 Nature Strip doesn't look that appealing, but $7 Lost and Running does. I think it was one of the 3 runners that we really, as a group, as a show, we really probably narrowed in on for the Everest anyway. But not much more to add. Lost and Running, very good bet at the moment. I think $7 is a bet.
What I will mention is that with the 5 previous runnings of this race, every winner's been 3rd up. So it's a small sample size, I get, but it's a pretty consistent one. All of them 3rd up, and that's interesting.
And remember that, Louis, the lose one to win one theory that we had going earlier, barring Redzel. Yeah, and obviously the 3-year-old.
That's true. Very true. All right, Jackano, this is my time to shine. $11. 3-year-old colt comes here, 3rd up tick. Pretty impressive in the Group 1 Golden Rose from the rear to win. Look, I think they had to go here with the option of getting a slot. I mean, I reckon that he wins the Caulfield Guineas if he goes there on the weekend, without a doubt. But with the prize money on offer here, you just have to. I tried to do a little comparison with Yes, who's the only other 3-year-old colt to win this race. He came off a Golden Rose 2nd, but it was a really quite fairly run race. I think they went even tempo, maybe even a bit slower, half a length slower to the 6, and got fought off by Bivouac. And I kind of think he might not have even seen out that 1,400. So for him to come then back to 1,200 was okay. I have concerns about Jackano back to 1,200 metres, seeing that he needed every single inch of the 14 to win there. He's going to spot them a massive start. The fast tempo's in his favour, to be fair, but I think fast tempo over 14 or 16 probably be more his go rather than the 12. The tempo can be as fast as you want, but you're probably going to run out of time to get there, seeing that these horses in front aren't just going to stop. They'll slow, but they won't be stopping. So, look, he doesn't really fit the yes profile, I think. If he's within range at the turn, he's got to be a chance. My concern is that he won't be.
How does he get? How does he get within range of those horses?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, that's my concern, that he just won't be in range, because they will go quick. It's a historically proven race that they go very quick. So, and the heavy track as well, if it is a heavy, is a concern. So $11, third line of betting. Nah, not for me.
Yeah, genuine unders for mine, Dino.
Yeah, I think a dry track he could win. But we're going to get a wet track. Like you said, he's probably going to get run off his feet. He needs to draw a gate. He needs a lot in his favour, and you're asked to take $9. No thanks, unders.
Mars Crusader, $13. Gannon.
Yeah, this was the third of the horses I thought that could win, and he's been super, super impressive. I think he's going better than ever. Obviously, a drier track will be more in his favour, but from what we've seen last start, I can't recall the track rating, but it was wet, and was really, really impressive back to the inside. And, good mate of the show, Brody Nixon, as soon as it went over the line, because we talked about Mars Crusader in the show previously, he sent me a text going, wow, watch out. And I completely agree. This is a horse that we've completely forgotten about. I think after the barriers, you might even get a better price here. Horse is low flying, going better. Big interest in how this track plays after being at the 8-meter rail. If they've knocked that down, trodden that down, and it gets dry, and Mars Crusader draws a middle to wide gate and finds that, he'll be winning. But there's a lot of ifs and buts there.
Dino?
Yeah, I think there is, but at the same time, you're asked to take $13. It's not like you're taking sort of sub-10s about him. So I think it's generally enough meeting the price there to take it. If we go back last year, I think with a fair track and no wind, he probably goes close to knocking Nature Strip off. He only just missed there. So for Nature Strip to be $1.90 and him to be $13, surely there's too big of a gap in the market. I think, Gannon, you nailed it. Barrier's key. He has to draw out. Anything that draws sort of inside, it's too hard to go back wide, come down against these elite on-pace horses. So I think he's a proper chance. He's one of 4 chances for mine. But, excited to see him. Louis?
Yeah, ditto to all that. Just the racing pattern again. It's the tricky one. But I think if you're going to be with a horse behind midfield of the picks, he's the one. Eduardo, Dino, $13. They've got history. Eduardo at Nature Strip. Which way is this one going to go?
Yeah, well, he had a big peak first up, and then he regressed badly there second up. Gets Nash back on, which is a good tick. He's just a consistent horse. You probably can't see him winning, and it would probably be not a shock if he won, but you'd need other horses, I think, in this race to be below the best and him to be sitting and pouncing, which he does. His racing pattern doesn't need luck. He puts himself up on speed, and if it gets to a bulldog fight late, he's going to be strong. I just think maybe he's probably a length off the best here, especially over 1,200 metres. That's the big knock. Probably 11 or 1,000. He's dynamic. 1,200 metres, I think it's advantage to those lost and running, Nature Strip, etc. But he'll be up on pace, which is there's plenty of. So can't knock him, and Joe Price do an outstanding job.
I'm feeling him fall off my chair if the horse lobbed. No chance.
Yes. Okay, no comment from me. Marzu, $13. I'll go here. Third up. If there's a horse that I'm hoping drifts to a pretty solid price, I'd be having a go at this each way. Probably more the place, maybe not even the win, to be fair, probably just a place bet. But I think it's a real sneaky chance. Was 5th in the shorts behind Nature Strip, but had to sit wide on speed that day, and they didn't go very fast. And I just think kind of didn't get it to suit. Stuck on okay. Again, don't think it could turn the tables on Nature Strip unless it bombs itself out in front. Ran second in the Premier behind Lost and Running last time out. Sat leaders back and had every hope, but I thought fought really hard alongside Lost and Running on the line, and Lost and Running wasn't getting away from it. So I think if it's the main danger at $7 and Marzu gets out to maybe a near $20 price, I think it has to be a solid chance. Similar to Eduardo, it's going to put itself right on the speed. If it can lob kind of ahead of midfield, barrier dependent, of course, it can just stalk that really hot tempo in front. Does it have the turn of foot to be running down a Nature Strip? I don't know. But, gee, I wouldn't be surprised if this ran third and we got maybe a pretty decent place price. It can win off a fast tempo. It did that last prep fresh. To be fair, it was in benchmark grade, but I think it proves it can win off a hot speed. And Triple Crown, they know how to win this race. Seriously, it's... I don't think he's a Redzel, but I reckon he can run a good third, hopefully at a price.
Next year for me.
Yeah, I think he could mould into a Red Zell. Red Zell just got better and better with age throughout the racing, but I'm with Gannon, I think another year. But I agree, Louis. Like, I thought he was probably Lost and Running was going to put length or two on him last start at the Premier, but he just really stuck on and fought back on the line. So he's not without a hope, but I couldn't be backing him.
Right, getting to some of the rougher chances. Private Eye, Gannon.
Yeah, it was enormous down the Flemington Straight. Did absolutely nothing wrong. Obviously, get a little bit of weight relief there from that. I think I had about 60-odd kilos, 61 kilos or something like that. But this is a big step up. It'll be, you know what? If I had to choose one with the top 6 horses being selected already, we know it'll be flying home. So we'll finish top half of the field, I think, but no bet.
Yeah, on pass, Dino.
Yeah, on Private, I think it's a good choice. Like, if you're going to have a winning chance, what you want to do is get your money back at least for the race. So good chance. Overpass. He was very disappointing last start. He's an on-speed horse. I wouldn't be surprised if they might ride him with cover here. We saw his best run for mine was in the Coolmore when he charged home. He has a lethal turn of foot. I know he's won a good race up on speed, but in this type of race, I think he'd be better served midfield maybe, but he can't win this for mine. Cano?
Yeah. You've summed it up well, mate. I think that unfortunately we have heard they will ride off pace, and I would much rather see it go forward.
Yeah, not for me. Giga Kick is another one. 3-year-old gelding, unbeaten. 6 weeks between runs last start, holding off Buenos Noches in a Danehill. That was over 1,100, yet to be tested over 12. And I just think for the first time to be tested over 1,200 to be in an Everest, that's a huge concern for mine. I can't, and it's not like it's, to be fair, the win 2 starts ago, it probably said, yeah, get me to 1,200, but not for me. Good experience for Clayton Douglas, though. That's a great nod on his cap to get a horse in there. He hasn't been training too long. He was a great rider, so exciting for him, but I'd need triple the price to get excited about Giga Kick. And I am a fan too, but just maybe not in an Everest. Again, a few years maybe. Godolphin slot, I think. Kementari is the word, Gano. Have you heard anything else?
I think Kementari is the word. And gee, he was impressive last start. Wasn't he? The old fella just coming through the middle, poking through the middle there. Another horse that I think can finish in the top half of the field as some of these sort of doing it tough late, coming up for air. I think Kementari will be closing off. But definitely, I'm pretty sure they'll go there because I think Palili got a whack to the eye or some mud in the eye or something similar. And, I don't know if you want to be on the 7-day backup with missing a couple of early morning sessions and things like that. So for mine, Kementari will be lining up, finish top half the field, we'll be cheering.
If Kementari wins an Everest, I think the world might explode. The sun could explode or something. Could you imagine far out?
You know what? It will end. The world will end the moment Kementari plots over the line.
Genuinely,
wouldn't be surprised the way that stable's going. Dead set, they could win.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Shades of Rose, Dino?
Yeah, 6th up, has been freshened. Now has to run a career peak and make up 3 to 5 lengths. It can't win. Good horse, going places. This is just way too soon for mine.
Yep. And Joyful Fortune is last. Great pickup for the Newnham camp off Hong Kong, and it's a great rehab story as well. I don't know if you guys read that, so I really like the story around it, but no, $51. Blew in the market first up at Flemington and won nicely, and that was on a heavy 10. So I guess if we're really heavy track, you could be saying this horse could be top half of the field just on the fact that it'll handle wet going. Races on speed, it's going to be alongside Nature Strip, perhaps. I don't know. Yeah, great story, but no.
And it's an unreal Everest, gents. So we're talking about, as you said, a race that has really, really been impressed and captured the racing sort of, fraternity. But this is huge, and there's so many stories. The Douglas story, the Joyful Fortune story. Plenty of stories out there. It's going to be massive, but we need a winner. Louis, what do you got?
Look, I couldn't give you an outright win bet. So what I'd be doing is, and it's always fun to do these on a feature race, play your exotics. I'd do a box trifecta, box first 4, but stand out Nature Strip a win. If I had to put one on the line right now, I'd go box trifecta, Nature Strip standout, and then Lost and Running, Masked Crusader, and Marzu in for the other positions. That would probably be my bet. But in terms of head-to-head, nothing for me.
Dino?
Yeah, I'm happy enough to take the price, Lost and Running and Masked Crusader here. I think they're both value. I think they're both firm. Nature Strip will drift. Dry track, getting back to a soft 7 would be ideal, and they both need to draw out. But they're the only 2 plays I can see worthwhile in the race, Gano.
Yeah, agree with you, mate. Absolutely. I'm with you. Been on the Nation Ship train and we'll be cheering at home for the best result. But I think if we're looking at the market as it is now, the only two horses you want to back at these prices would be Masked Crusader and Lost to Running. Righto, that's pretty good. What do we got, Louis? Heading to Melbourne for the Caulfield Cup?
Yeah, that's the Everest. Now to the Caulfield Cup. Very different race. Let's take a look at the market. Smoking Roman's favourite, $4.50 and a clear favourite at that with Tab. Benno at 7. Inspirational Girl 9, Gold Trip and Nonconformist at $10, Due Ace at 13 heads the rest. Now, I'll kick us off here. I love the story with Smoking Romans, $4.50 though. A lot of smart people I'm seeing are saying that this is a solid bet and keep betting if it drifts. If it drifts, it probably is a bet. I couldn't really come into the 450 just yet. It's going to get in with a lightweight. My tip here at the moment is Inspirational Girl. It also comes through that Turnbull, which Smoking Romans won and won well. It found a horrible spot in running. It was 4-5 pairs back the fence, just cluttered in traffic on the turn as they fanned. Had nowhere to go. It got out probably only the last 200. Really clear running, maybe 150 out, and flew home alongside Luncey's. If it finds a better position in running, Inspirational Girl, up to 2,400 metres, I think that's a huge chance of turning the tables. Gets in with 53 kilos, which means she's going to drop 1.5 kilos, and really fits that Jamaica profile, I think, as well, who won this race as a mare carrying, I think it was 52.5 a few years ago, and also came off a really good run in the Turnbull. So I think that's a good profile to fit. 2,400 first time, but gee, she's racing like she wants it. I think she's crying out for it. And with any better luck in running at $9, I think she's a genuine chance. Dino?
Yeah, I like it. It's a good race this year, I thought. It's probably not got the star power like a Caulfield Cup, but it's a good betting race is sort of what I'm getting at. I generally think Numerian's massive overs in this race. He was really good last start. They went about 13 lengths faster than the average, and the two leaders that were in front of him, dead set, dropped out and finished 15 lengths last. He stuck on, ran second to Cascadian. He should have probably won first up if it wasn't for that Randwick bias track. Handles wet or dry. I know there's a forecast for a bit of rain around Caulfield as well, which is interesting. So he's going to be up on pace, doing it on his own. Tommy Berry takes the ride and goes down there to miss the Everest, which is interesting. I think around that $17 price, it's huge. If it's a dry track, I think Durston can run a big race. He was great last start. Probably a lot of us penned him, but his wheels just spun late in Sydney. Dry track, he can go really well, but I'm quite keen on Numerian here, boys.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I think you boys have summed that up pretty well. I think Numerian came out of a pretty impressive race and did a lot, and Dino steered me into that during the week. For mine, staying trips in Melbourne aren't really my specialty, so I'll just go with you boys and yeah.
Very good. Numerian scratched from that Turnbull, Dino, did it?
It ran in Sydney on that same day in the Hill Stakes, I'm pretty sure.
Right, okay.
If I'm correct. Yeah. So, I'm pretty sure. It didn't go through the Turnbull, no. But I think Gold Trip's the other one to come through the Turnbull. He'll need a wet track, which he might get.
He was flat.
He didn't let down last start. There's a couple of others, but yeah.
Very good. All right, best all in play. Ganno, starting with you.
Well, I'm pretty keen on one. Just trying to find what race it was. Espiona heading down to Melbourne. Do you know what race was it, man? Remember? Oh yeah, the Shoestark. The Shoestark Stakes. Espiona's heading down to Melbourne. Now, there's an issue here. There is 20 to 30 mils of rain predicted. So in the fair dinkum department, what do you do there? Does it even turn up and race?
Yeah, the helicopter's out.
Helicopters out. So you know what, Louis? This is good. We do this live. This is fantastic for recording. I'm going to go instead. I'm going to go Great Barrier Reef on Wednesday in the Blue Sapphire. Can I do that?
Sure, you can do whatever you want, mate. It's your show. Dino?
My best all in play is Numerian in the Caulfield Cup. Probably not my forte, these staying races, but I just think $17 is ridiculous. So happy enough to go down to Mexico and take the chocolates.
Yeah, and I'll go with Inspirational Girl. I mean, again, no real confidence, but I had to pick one, and I haven't looked at the other races on the day on Saturday, so I'll put that in there as mine. Unless the box trifecta gets up, then that was it. Just
love it. Love a box trifecta for your best all in play, Louis. That's elite. Righto, boys, we're going to go midweek best bets. I'm going to kick it off. We're going to go Tuesday, race 7 at Newcastle. Horse number 13, Perfect Thought for John Sargent. Willie Pike's on board. It's a blinkers on. talented colt this. Heavy 9 last start, didn't really suit. Gets back to a dry surface now. Pretty good drying weather in Sydney, New South Wales. So I think a track will get back to a 7. It'll be winning. It'll put these away. It's $5.50, boys. Get on.
Love it, Gannon. I'll go to Wednesday. Race number 1, I think it is at Warwick Farm. We're on a heavy 10, so this is probably not the best setup, but race 1, number 6, Her Excellency, I think it's pronounced. A 2-year-old, 2 very smart trials, the right camp, Snowden's. Sam Clipperton's riding good at the moment too. Barrier 4, perfect. If it handles the wet, it wins that 2-year-old race. So race 1, Warwick Farm Wednesday, number 6, Her Excellency. Louis?
Beautiful. I'll go back to Mexico. Caulfield, race 6, number 7, Munhamek. Was a very good first up winner at the track and distance. The Caulfield 1400 metres, ran a meeting fast last 2. Previous second up winner, handles wet. An ex-Hong Kong horse, now with Nick Ryan. He's flying. He does well with those imports. So I think he can go back to back. It's drawn horribly, but I think we'll get a better price because of that. And I'd be stupid not to mention that jolting is going around in a country trainers race. Forget the Everest, boys. This is the prize money race. I don't know what it is. I think Reece told me it could have been 20, 30 million. And we'll be winning all of it from a wide draw. So cheer on jolting on Wednesday.
And we won't mention it any more than this. Sorry, we won't mention it again. But geez, I like it, Moonee Valley. Righto, boys. Thank you so much, punters. If you want to get on Twitter, subscribe, follow us, send us a tweet, get around our work on Saturday. That'll be enormous. We'd appreciate it. We're doing race-by-race previews. Dino might even get out there and walk the track and give us a bit of a heads up where the good lanes are. Boys, thank you so much.
Pleasure as always.
Thanks, lads.